Hello and welcome to the Answers for Care webinar. I'm very excited to have you here and to talk about our pros and how we can help. My name is Nicole Christensen. I'm a board certified patient advocate and proud founder of Answers for Care. And what Answers for Care is a one first of its kind, one-stop shop for all of your senior care needs throughout the care continuum. And some of these needs go far below or above a senior, but it's for all of us. A lot of times the folks that contact me are the loved ones of an older adult who might not in their minds be older adults themselves. But they need to know this information, not only for the people they love, but also for themselves. Because as I've said, if you've read anything I put out there, aging starts when you're born, right? So a lot of these things are needed throughout our lives. And Answers for Care is the village of senior care solutions. And so today we're going to be talking about the financial and legal help, why you need it, when to act, and who can help. And why do I know the answers to this information? Because again, I'm a patient advocate, not in necessarily financial or legal, because we have great professionals on Answers for Care. And with a little bit of research and a lot of conversation, they gave me the answers to this so that we could all share it with you. So first and foremost, before we get into the crux of legal and financial, let's take a look at the Answers for Care website that hopefully you can all see. So again, it's very user-friendly, easy to use. And what we're doing here is you have a category potentially. We came up with 4 categories. There could be more in the future. And right now we serve Nassau and Suffolk counties on Long Island. And so right now we have the financial and legal, which we'll be talking about today. I'll go actually into services here. And so you'll see there accounting, daily money manager, elder law attorney, Medicaid specialist, Medicare, financial advisor, real estate, and all the things that you can read yourself there, and more that are not listed there. So you can find the different specialists and professionals in each of the category, in-home, assisted living, and senior placements organizations, companion care agencies, home care agencies, and all the like that we put in kind of the things that you need for your home, wherever you're living or going to. Then we have healthcare services. We don't have doctors listed as of now, but these are the kind of non-traditional MDs that you might think of, or people that work with our medical providers. So like dementia specialists that aren't necessarily doctors, or audiologists that can come to the home, or medical supplies that you might need, or physical or occupational therapy that can come to the home. And then lastly, we have the division of navigate care and support. So that would include people like myself that are board certified patient advocates or geriatric care managers or even end of life doulas. And these categories can get much larger. We don't want to throw a phone book at anybody. We want to make sure you have the resources that you need and are not overwhelmed. And we only have the best here. We really have vetted professionals that go through a criminal background check for themselves. They go through a background check for their business. They've been around for at least a year, and currently our professionals have been around in their businesses for far longer than 5 years, and probably altogether our professionals are over 100 years in the work that they're doing. So we know that they are professionals. They've been doing it for a while. They're considered experts in their field. They have ratings all over social media or their professional world of at least 3 stars. I think all of us have 4 to 5 stars on all of the rating systems currently. So they know what they're doing, and they're known in the community. They also will get back to you within 24 hours. They'll correspond with you if you go through Answers for Care. And then the other perk is that if you go through Answers for Care and utilize these services, they'll give 5% discount off of one of their services. So you get the whole package here. So let me talk a little bit about, just briefly, about how you use Answers for Care. Again, the goal was to make it as easy as possible. So as I mentioned before, you could go through services and click here. I'm in legal and financial, and click financial advisor and see what we get. So then it has Ryan and Janowski, Financial Strategies Group, and you can view their listing and see what they're about. They already have a review up here. They'll tell you what they do. And right here, you'll see you can enter your name, send a message, and they'll get back to you. And then you could just ask questions. You don't have to know exactly what you need. They're here to help. And then again, we're a village of senior care services. So it could be a number of things that you need that maybe we can't help you with, but there's somebody there on Answers for Care that can. Or you can say, hey, I need Medicaid. I don't know what they would use for that, but I'm just going to write in Medicaid. And you look there, and then you'll have Positive Planning Now, and it'll be a Medicaid specialist, and you can view their listing and see what they're about. You could go into something and you just know their name, right? So you're like, I know this lawyer, Anne. Let's see. Let's see if she's in here. There she is. You just put her name in, and then it has the Dele Iacono Law Group, and you can view their listing and contact them. So there's many ways to get to it. You could also do, which is right now down, I'm trying to figure out, you could also just enter a zip code. I don't recommend that way because just because they're not in your zip code, it certainly does not mean they don't service your area. So you'll see on these listings where they serve. Many of our providers really serve all of Nassau and Suffolk and some into Queens as well. So don't let that deter you where they are physically located. So there's many ways to get to our different professionals. And then you'll see here, there's throughout the website on the homepage, there's popular categories to explore. There's our newest elder focused professionals. And then those that have premier memberships, they'll have blogs here that you can learn from and learn more about. And then if you're unsure of what you're looking for, you can go to our Learn More, which has lots of information, different questions people ask to get the professional that they need, which is great. But again, if you're like, I just still don't know, or I don't want to read all that, I just want to know how to get the professional I need, you can just go to Contact Us. Right. And then I, Nicole, will contact you and we can figure it out together. So there's no reason to be concerned about, oh, what you need. You know, when you go on here that you're getting a professional. Okay, so let's get back to the crux of the matter today, which is the financial and legal help. So what is included? We talked a little bit about this on the website. So we have financial planning and elder law and Medicaid specialists, funeral preparation, Medicare, accounting, mental health law, daily money managers, real estate, and much more. And so where you see this badge here, those that can see the screen, it says Answers for Care Vetted Professional. Those are the folks listed on the Answer for Care site. You'll see that, or it'll say Vetted Professional next to them. Those are the folks that are vetted, that have gone through that criminal background check and gone through their business background check, as well as all of the other wonderful things that I just told you about our professionals. So financial planning, let's start with that. So when? The sooner the better. And again, how do I know any of the answers to these things? It's because of the fabulous professionals with so much experience that are on Answers for Care. So 4 common reasons are planning for retirement. which could be the first time you get a job, or it could be when you're older and retirement seems closer, right? Or investment advice. Where where do you want to put your money? Major life events. So it could be something like a divorce or having to care for an adult member of your family or a child, um, or the death of a loved one as well, or financial goals. You know, what do you want to do with the money that you're working so hard to get or that you have? So they can help you with all of that and much more, much, much more. They are trusted contacts and professionals. And who do you choose? You go to a professional, a vetted professional on Answers for Care. I know Peter is on with us. Did you want to add a little bit to that? You don't have to. It's okay. You could just contact him on Answers for Care. Okay, so then elder law. So what we have here is when you need an elder law professional. And when do you do it? Some say about around age 50 or younger, right? If you have children or chronic illness, you might want to look into it younger, or you just realize you want to really protect the assets that you're working so hard for or that you've worked so hard for. And again, why from our elder care professionals do you need it? It's generally protecting those assets, figuring out what a trust is, how you can protect your money in a trust, and all of your assets in a trust. Estate planning, figuring out what you're going to do next so that that burden doesn't go fall on somebody else to figure out, and it goes where you want it to go. And then there's Medicaid and long-term care planning, right? So when we might need that Medicaid or any kind of long-term care, you might want to have that planned in ahead of time, right? So you would speak to an elder law attorney, and where can you find them? Trick question, not really, on Answers for Care. Then we have Medicaid planning. So when do we think about it? Some of us don't know what Medicaid is until we need it, right? So it's when you or a loved one needs more care in the home or the community, or looking into a skilled nursing option or a nursing home. And why? Why? The long-term cost of care is more than most can afford. And with the hope of living a long and quality life, it's more than anybody can afford, quite honestly. So that's when you'll be looking at it. Or when somebody that you love or yourself wants to stay at home and have the quality life they want, but might need some help to do that, either now or in the future. Or perhaps someone or yourself is blind, 65 or over, or disabled, and need more care in the home. Or again, and when you're talking about nursing home or long-term skilled nursing facilities, the cost on Long Island is about $18,000 a month. So you want to try to avoid that financial burden because again, if you live long enough, everybody's money runs out and you want to be able to plan for that rather than have less options. And who do you find? The professionals on Answers for Care. And again, we have a professional here, Pam, if you wanted to add anything to that or say hi.
Hi, I would just add to that that planning in an emergency is so incredibly difficult. So even if you have questions about when would I need this, why might I need this, it's worth it just to ask. It never hurts to ask, and you might get answers that you didn't think would apply to you. And I'd also just want to add that there are some assisted living programs that accept Medicaid for care as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for adding that because the community that we live in, the home or community Your home could be anywhere. It could be an assisted living, it could be a house, it could be an apartment, it could be a shared living situation. It's all the community that you live in. That's your home. Okay. So funeral preparations. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, but I promise preparing for a funeral will not be the death of you, especially if you plan beforehand. So I am, a child, a mother, a sibling, and unfortunately, I've had the loss of folks in my life, family members, and I've had the opportunity to have one that was prepared, a funeral that was prepared, and one that was not. I can tell you as a loved one, I definitely prefer the ones that are. So I suggest you prepare when you're alive, when you're talking about these funeral preparations. But of course, if a loved one's passed, that's also when you would have to think about those kinds of things. And again, why would you think about it beforehand? It's you realize you don't have anybody for yourself to handle your final arrangements. That could be a very real thing that you might have lots of people who love you, but nobody that would be that you would think that they would take on that responsibility. So you want to take care of it yourself so that those who are mourning you, which I'm sure are many, have that space to mourn and have all the arrangements taken care of. Um, or you don't want to leave that emotional and financial responsibility to a loved one. You want to take care of it for them. Um, or when you need to make arrangements as part of a Medicaid spend down process. Again, you see how a lot of these things, actually all of these things, have something in common. The one thing in common is it's humans, right? People that need it. But also with the Medicaid spend down, if you can utilize those funds to actually take care of something so that your loved ones don't have to and be taken care of in a way that you want, all the better. And so again, where can you find these kinds of services for funeral arrangements and funeral homes? On Answers for Care. Then there is Medicare planning. So again, I spoke to our experts here, and when do we think about it? What do we think about Medicare? I think a lot of people think it's just automatic and it takes care of itself. It does not. So when you turn 64 and kind of every year afterwards, because your needs change, the coverage that you had can change, the best options change. So we have a great Medicare brokers. Again, we suggest those because they have connections with all of the different providers rather than one provider. So, why would you need it? Because unfortunately, it's confusing, and the process of applying is also confusing. Or perhaps you applied, or you don't know how you actually applied, or what to do next, or you discover that the coverage you chose is not covering your needs, or you're figuring out if there's another way to cover your needs better. So you would go to a Medicare specialist on Answers for Care, which is easy to find. And I think we have one of them on the line if you'd like to say anything to add to that, Jane.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm sorry I was a little late. I had people on the phone, so it was a little crazy, and then I couldn't find the link. But anyway, yes, everything is very true. You can sign for Medicare 3 months ahead of your 65th birthday. So when you turn 65 is when you are on Medicare, unless, of course, you're with the coverage of an employer. But the one thing I always want people to understand, and what I usually stress, even though you have an understanding of what Medicare is, or you think you do, please don't try to do it yourself, because it doesn't matter who you are. There are going to be things that you think are right that are totally wrong, or things that you feel like, well, I can just go along and do this, and it ends up being a total mistake. So I totally encourage you to get somebody to help you. There's no cost for what we do, and we will do all the research and go through all of the options that you have so that you don't have mistakes.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Jane. Yes, it's really is a care saver, right? Or a lifesaver. Um, Again, as a board certified patient advocate, I've had the great opportunity to work with all of these different kinds of professionals because it does require a team to make sure that everything is in place so that people can truly get the care that they need. And Answers for Care allows you to get it easily. Then we have accountants. We kind of all know probably about accountants. And I would say when you need them, as soon as you make money or have money, right? But for older adults and adults, it might be even more necessary because why? There's complex financial situations oftentimes. The older you get, the more complex we get, right? So that would be a good reason to get in touch with somebody. Tax planning and preparation, estate and inheritance planning, and then healthcare and long-term care costs, right? All of these things, you see how they're all woven together. So accountants work with many, if not all of us, on Answers for Care, all the different kinds of professionals, and with all of you that are seeking assistance with whatever it is that you need assistance with. So they're a great need. Then a daily money manager. So this one is people often get confused or don't know what is at all. So let me just let you know that there's some people that have said, oh, that's for really rich people. It is not. It may have been at one point, but it's certainly not now. It is for any time, people at any time when life gets too busy or difficult to manage daily financial tasks. And this could be busy working parents. But in this case, we're talking about, especially for older adults who find it challenging to pay bills and manage finances. And so we're out there trying to live our best lives. And sometimes these things fall through the cracks and can be really damaging for our financial future. And also, there is the real truth that there are many scams out there. And so, in my experience as a patient advocate, I've found loved ones that have contacted me saying that somebody is not paying their bills or they're paying a lot of money to different organizations that are real or not, or they give money to anybody who answers the phone, who calls them and says, I need this, because they have such a big heart and they're not recognizing that they're giving away money that they actually need for themselves. So sometimes why we would talk to a daily manager or see if it's a good fit for us is if we notice bills are not being paid on time, or again, finances are too much to manage and getting in the way of quality of life. Or sometimes it happens that the spouse who took care of finances, generally speaking, is no longer able to, whether they've fallen sick or they've passed away or just not able to anymore. This is a really good time to look into whether a daily money manager might be a good fit for you. And there are also people that have come to me and said, oh, I have a power of attorney. I don't need that. So power of attorney is one thing that's very much needed, and that goes kind of back to elder law attorneys that can help you with creating that. But the actual daily money management, sometimes people find it difficult as your power of attorney to do all of that, uh, what you might consider minutia, because they want to make sure that your money is being used properly, but they may have their own family and finances to deal with. That the things could slip through the cracks. So sometimes a daily money manager is just the right fit to make sure all of those bills are being paid while the power of attorney is still the power of attorney and making sure it's all okay. So, and you can find daily money managers on Answers for Care. Mental health lawyers or attorneys. So this was even new to me maybe five years ago. It was a new idea to me because I had worked with plenty of clients who unfortunately struggled with mental health illness and their loved ones were trying to get the best care for them. Then I realized that there are mental health lawyers that can help in this process and be part of the team. So, a mental health attorney helps ensure that legal actions respect a person's rights, dignity, and well being while supporting families and healthcare providers in navigating the complex intersection of law and mental health. And it is truly complex and it is always bound together, which you may not realize on the outside. So why would you need that if you are or you know somebody that has a mental illness? Because they're there to protect the rights of individuals with mental illness. If there's a guardianship or conservatorship, meaning somebody is making helping somebody with a mental illness make the appropriate decisions for them because they're not able to themselves. Um, if there's psychiatric medical directives. So we know what a healthcare proxy, most of us know what that is potentially. That's when you can make healthcare decisions for somebody if they're incapable of doing so or incapacitated. These are specific for those who are struggling with mental illness. And then planning for long-term care or decision-making support in cases of degenerative mental illness. So that would include Alzheimer's disease potentially, or schizophrenia, and many others. So this is really good to be thinking potentially upon diagnosis that this is out there and asking those questions. And you can find them on Answers for Care. Real estate agents. Okay, so we kind of know what a real estate agent is. And when would we be looking for them? Well, when we're looking to sell a home, downsize, relocate, or upsize. So you could be thinking, hey, I need a smaller home, or I need a bigger home closer to my family so that we can be in the same home. Um, or you're just relocating because everybody's in another state. And so you're trying to figure out what your options are and what fits for you. And so why you would call, you would contact them to see what your home might be worth. You just want to see what's going on out there and see what you could do with your home to maybe make it worth more, what you should put into it, what you shouldn't put into it, to get the right support if you're selling your home, or to find the right home now that you have needs that are changed. So that is all great reasons to reach out to a real estate agent, especially if you're an older adult, because there are those agents that actually have expertise in for older adults. So you want to utilize those expertise. And again, you can find some on Answers for Care. So that's all we have right now. But again, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you on the Village of AnswersForCare.com. And if you have any questions, or if you're a professional out there, or you know somebody that you're like, that's not listed, or it is listed, but they're not one of our pros, please let us know, have them contact us. They obviously have to be one of the best and to be reliable and notable for their work. But we would love to have them so that they can help all those that are looking for their kinds of services, because we know that there are a lot of people looking for a lot of different kinds of services. And we want it all to be right here on Answers for Care. So you can contact us and let us know of any questions you may have, or reach out to our vetted professionals on Answers for Care. Thanks so much.